those mittens to run with.
We get questions like on
What's that all about?
Will it alert us?
I'll have the YouTube open, so I'll be able to see them.
Like if people are actually watching?
No.
Last time we had a good amount, so
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, it'd be nice to know. We did get a ton more Facebook likes this past week. Like 10.
Alright, just go ahead and test it.
Check 1, 2.
Check 1, 2, 3,
Another
4.
Jags podcast. That's quite the board you have over there.
Talking,
Need some
dude.
TLC.
Oh, yeah, dude,
That's classic.
I got new fins for it, that's why it's out.
I bet that thing will float me.
It's a bamboo board.
Back when that wasn't even a thing.
What is on? Oh, is that a GoPro?
GoPro mount, yeah.
All right.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
So, welcome everyone to another Jags podcast, episode 66?
5.
65.
Right.
Okay. You sure?
I think it's 66.
I think it is 66. I think the last week.
Last one was 65.
Let's take it from the top.
Wait, are we counting the? I didn't count the.
The draft? Is that a special?
That was
Oh,
a fan special.
Okay,
Oh,
gotcha.
fan
Gotcha.
special.
So
There we
we're
go.
back on track.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
this is in fact episode 65 of
Yeah.
another Jags podcast. Last week, as everyone knows, was the NFL draft. So that's what we're going to be talking about tonight is everything draft. We're going to recap what we liked, what we didn't like, what surprised us, maybe what didn't surprise us, all that good stuff. And also answer any Twitter questions that anyone submitted, any comments that may have been made. And we are also streaming live on YouTube. That's going to be a new wrinkle in the another Jags podcast. So if you have any comments as you're watching us, and I imagine it's just thrilling entertainment to sit here and watch us on couches talking about the Jags. But if you have a question as we're talking, feel free to interject and we'll answer it.
Or if you have any free cool clothes you want to donate to me for the live, I'd appreciate that. I mean, I can't buy a whole new wardrobe just because we're on TV.
I think
No.
you're okay.
All right,
I just
fair
checked
enough.
it, and in fact, we are live.
Okay, we
Yeah,
are. All
yeah.
right. So before we get to all that good stuff, we want to remind everyone that we are on Twitter at Another Jags Pod, Facebook and Instagram, Another Jags Podcast. And of course, as already has been mentioned, YouTube, just type in Another Jags Podcast and you'll find us there. So yeah, this is an interactive show. If this is your first time listening or watching. This is a very interactive show. We love to include questions from our listeners. It's really what we base our show around. We're fans, you're fans, so let's talk about the Jags together. Boys, without any further ado, I want you to give an overall grade before we get into the details of the draft and dissect it from pick to pick. Just give me your overall grade of all, 7 picks?
I don't know.
8 picks?
No, not that many.
It was 7.
No, they had 2 in one round.
two,
It
and
was
two
7.
5, 6. I think
Definitely
it was 6.
Definitely 7.
Okay, let's 1, 2, 3, 4 in the third round. 1
Wait.
in the 4. No, 1
in
in
the
the
5th, 1 in the 6th,
1
1
in
in
the
the
6th,
7th.
2 in the 7th. They went
Exactly.
back to back in the
7th.
7th. So
7
8 picks.
Are you sure?
So I'm
I
right
think we
off the
traded a
bat.
7th pick.
And we had 2 back-to-back picks in the 7th round. Like they picked and then they picked again.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. I don't know who they picked, but I
I'm
know
not
they
seeing the other guy. Is the only thing. And I thought I heard we traded a 7th for a 6th next year.
maybe that's what happened.
Actually, Jason's right at 6.
So it's a 6
Yeah.
next year. Okay, so
Yeah.
I'm wrong right off the bat.
Yeah, and that's okay. It's okay. I did my
Listen, it's
homework,
way
so
past
it's
my
okay. No, actually, let's give it a quick shout out to Jason at RatHCP, whose question was, "What's your overall letter grade for our draft?"
Oh, okay. So
So-
he's just hosting.
He's on.
All right. I like it. So what is y'all's overall grade for the draft?
I think I'll take that because I'm not going to give a letter grade. I like to answer a question without an actual answer because I think letter grades are stupid.
Great answer, Joey.
I think letter grades are about like 3, 4, 5-star going into college. Like it's stupid.
Okay.
I'm gonna give a pass fail, and the Jags definitely passed a strong pass in my
That was
mind.
the weakest.
Yeah,
It's not a weak
that
answer.
doesn't
That was
count,
the weakest
It's not.
answer.
That doesn't
Everybody's
count.
wrong all the time. They don't turn out like they are. I think they
I
passed
know
for
for
what we
right
needed.
now, we're saying right now, late April, a week removed from the draft,
So
not
you're-
even a week.
You're
a
going
few
to demand
days.
a letter grade then.
Yeah, just,
Yes.
just give
All
us,
right,
just
B
give
plus.
us-
B plus.
Okay, thank you.
Thank-
Was that so hard?
It was hard because I think that's like shouldn't even be a thing. All it is for sports writers and commentators to be able to
It's
like.
for us to talk about in April. What else are we going to talk about?
Well, the thing
We're
is
still going to
that
dissect the players.
if
I'm
you
all
say
about
pass,
that.
fail, like there's 32 teams. Like you're not trying to like pass with 15 other teams. You want to see where you're at compared to everyone else.
And I agree. I'll dissect the players individually for
Okay.
sure. But I think
All right.
overall pass B plus.
Well, it hurts me because Joey's answer is so weak, but I'm gonna have to agree. I'm at
was
B
weak.
plus. I'm at B plus with him. So
Weak but the same.
your first answer was weak.
Interesting.
But your grade was B+. Yeah,
Pass fail, much easier.
I think they did well by getting Jawan Taylor in the second round. Really, really knocked it out of the park for me. I think that was a great pick, and they got a bunch of project guys after that. So they stole 2 guys, and then they got projects everywhere else. And I'm cool with that. I'm a project guy, so I'm cool with that.
Yeah, I was actually I was gonna say B+ as well. I'm gonna say a solid B though instead, just to be a little bit different. And the reason being is their second, third round pick in Quincy Williams. It's not really about whether he's going to be any good or not. I mean, if the guy turns out to be an all-pro, then obviously it was an amazing pick. No one really had him on their radar to go that high. I think it might have been NFL Network. Didn't even have any film on him when the Jaguars selected him. There was no highlights to show. So that's how much they had thought of him going that high. They weren't even ready. But it's not even really about that, because I can't sit here and say that I didn't like the pick because I've never heard of him. I mean, that's my fault, But what I don't understand is what are we doing at safety? You know what I mean? Like, what are we doing at wide receiver? And to go linebacker there, I was a little
safety.
I mean, I thought he was listed as a linebacker.
Quincy Williams
He's
is
a
a safety.
225-pound safety.
I don't know what's going on.
He's a
But
small.
they had him listed at linebacker, right?
They did in the draft, but he is listed. He is a safety.
Okay, good.
Yeah, he's
that
a
actually
safety.
makes me feel a lot better.
Yeah.
Because
But he's a strong safety. He plays Ronnie Harrison's position.
okay, well then there you go again.
Yeah,
But
he's a special teams guy.
So that's the thing. Like that's what confuses me is where are we really going to roll with Wilson? I mean, is that it with no depth?
Are we gonna jump to Kev Click's question about
Yeah, let's do it, please. I'm stepping over everybody.
This question. James clearly did not read the question thread because
Nor did
No, I
I.
didn't.
this
But, hey,
question.
K-Click, bring it.
This question from Kev Click, and he's at @KClick_6 is who is gonna play free safety? Jared Wilson.
That's a great question. I love that question, and I'd like for someone to answer it.
The answer is, as of now, yes. Will they bring in a free agent to compete? I would hope so. But Quincy Wilson, he put his own film out. Okay,
was about to say that.
so he released his own film, and Big Cat Country, we're the ones to break it, and the guy is a torpedo.
Dude, he is lighting.
Did you watch this
people-
film?
Oh my god!
Oh my gosh,
Like,
dude!
it's the highlight film,
Dude, it
obviously.
is.
But dude, he is
Even for a highlight,
crushing people.
even for a highlight film,
Like,
that's crazy.
absolutely crushing
Dude,
people.
he's picking people up and slamming them left and right, not once in a while.
Like-
he's
like old
spearing
school.
people.
Old school.
Yeah, he's an old school. Come downhill and strike you, dude.
Again, he is going to be special team to start with for sure. I would have to assume, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
So I guess the biggest question is we saw Ronnie Harrison actually play a little bit of free safety last year. There were some plays when they changed the strength formation to the left and the right, and the Jags didn't feel like switching their strength and flipping their field, they would roll Ronnie Harrison to free safety a little bit. So he has some experience playing free safety. Am I comfortable with that? I guess, but we'll see what happens. But there's a chance that Jared Wilson and Quincy Wilson are fighting out that spot for.
I mean,
the
how
safety.
hard is it to play that position with our DBs and our linebackers?
I mean, how hard is it to play it? Not hard. How hard is it to play well? Probably.
we don't
hard.
need them to play that well, though. I mean, do you
I
really want
guess
them
it depends on who you
I mean,
ask.
again,
I
I think that
mean-
was a reach at that pick, but do you really want them
Well, that's
burning?
the question. Are they still drafting best available at that point? Or are they then addressing need?
I think at that point they're drafting best available. I think the only pick that was need was Taylor and what's the tight end's name? Oliver. So I think those are the only 2 need picks they took, and it was
I,
lineman.
mean, I think you could argue that Taylor wasn't need. I think it was a need, but that was also met with best
Definitely
available.
best available at that point.
I think it was both.
Yeah, that was
Which-
both.
which is-
I think
which
it
is
was
awesome.
both. Yeah, because Marone talked about it. It started that tackle run.
Right.
Yeah, that was funny about the draft is we kind of talked about this on live. It's even before the draft started, we're watch for the runs. Watch for a player go and then a run of players. When we took Taylor, you saw Risner go, you saw Cody Ford go, you saw all these guys, all these tackles and linemen get taken. So we lucked out on that, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, we got a really good offensive lineman at that point. But does it concern you at all that Tom Coughlin refuses to acknowledge the fact that the league's changed over the past 25 years and it's just die hard? We're going to be a run team. I mean, dude, I'm a little concerned about that at this point, especially when we're banking everything on Fournette being the stud.
I mean, let me ask you this: did you think when they signed Nick Foles that going into the draft they were going to try and assemble a team that was going to score 45 points a game?
I didn't, but I figured they would have given him a little more like options.
I mean, Foles is the kind of guy that you would. I mean, I don't know. To me, I'm with Joey. It seems like Foles is the kind of guy that you bring in when you're trying to score 45 points a game.
Yeah.
Like if you're trying to just do what they've always done, you don't pay all that money to a guy who throws it 50 times a game. You bring in a guy like Tyrod Taylor. You bring in a guy that can manage a game really well. You don't bring in a guy that is a gunslinger. That's just my. I mean, maybe I'm wrong.
Would you classify Foles as a gunslinger?
Well, he throws it over 50 times a game, almost every game.
But how he throws it is not Ben Roethlisberger.
I
mean, he just
agree,
rear
but
back
he
and
still
throw
throws
deep.
a lot. He still throws a lot. He's not a handoff guy. He's not a play action guy. He's a drop back out of shotgun, check down, or go over the top guy.
But even more importantly, though, we have nobody that catches the ball in the backfield from a running back standpoint. We got a tight end that.
I mean, Rawls maybe.
I don't know. You've said before that you think Fournette is capable of doing that.
He's capable.
Okay, so let's talk
Will
about
he?
that. So maybe that's the hinge point of everything. So that should be
That is
a
the
focal
hinge point
point.
of everything.
I agree. Fournette definitely has that capability and has shown that he's very, very good at that. He's very, very good at everything if his head's in the game and he's not hurt. So, I mean, really, everything is based around the fact that Coughlin is that type of GM, a run guy, win it in the trenches, and we have a first-round running back that could be the best ever. It's all on him, pretty much, man. I mean, other stuff's going to open it up. We should have, like, short fields, all that. We can get into that later, but it really is on Fournette's shoulders, unfortunately, and that scares the living crap out of me.
Can we talk about Josh Allen?
Please.
That was the worst response to that ever.
To be honest, like I was like, man, we've talked about Fournette enough, and I just was like, I'm out.
Do you not disagree, though, that, like, they're
I hope Fournette's good. I don't know what he's gonna do.
But
No one does.
Everything's revolving around him, though.
No.
You don't think so?
I mean, we have no receivers, but
How do we have an offense
he's right,
otherwise?
he's the best player on offense.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, I mean, it's going to revolve around him.
When he's
to a
healthy,
certain
he's the
degree.
best player on
When he's
offense.
healthy, when he's healthy.
But outside of that, how do we have an offense at this point?
well, our offensive line looks really good now.
Sure.
It does,
Yeah.
if healthy. But I mean,
Yeah.
that's true with every
Yeah.
team and every position.
Right. Offensive line looks good. Quarterback looks good. Fournette looks good. Receivers are up in the air.
All right, move on then.
Josh Allen. What are y'all's thoughts on Josh Allen?
Let me say this. The Jalen Ramsey selection by the Jacksonville Jaguars was my all-time favorite Jaguar draft pick, and probably will be forever, unless for some reason like we luck out and get Trevor Lawrence in a couple years or something like that. The Josh Allen pick is my second favorite
Wow.
Jaguar
Wow.
pick. I mean, it was like the stars aligned, and we got the third best player in the entire draft at 7, and I can't wait to see him suit up and play.
I was talking to Jason like before you got here, and we were way too harsh on that draft pick at the live
We were.
event. So, myself, solely because I just wanted him to go offense at that point. I know the guy's unbelievable, but seeing him, like, his reaction to coming here, the guy is pumped to be here. Like, he was actually at the beach on Saturday with his kid, going down the beach, like, talking to people, like, people we know, asking them, hey, I want to live at the beach. This is great. Like, find me a place to rent until I buy a house. Like, he is as bought in on Jacksonville as you could be. And the guy's he is. He's a 10-year Hall of Fame type player. Never missed a game at Kentucky. Very happy with it at this point.
17 and a half sacks, I think, this past season at Kentucky in the SEC, going against some of the best offensive linemen in the country, some of the best offenses in the country.
I mean, he was the
SEC Defensive Player of the Year. I mean,
that includes Alabama.
that's huge. That's Auburn. That's Alabama. That's Georgia. That's A&M. I mean, that's Florida. Those are the major programs in the country, and he got Defensive Player of the Year. I mean, I just think the pass rusher, you just can't have enough of them. And the fact that we have him, and just think about if there's anything that's remotely close to 3rd and long, however you define that, 3rd and 5 and beyond, you're going to have a defensive line of Yannick Ngakoue, Marcel Darius, Calais Campbell, and now Josh Allen.
Oh, man, that's scary.
Like, that's ridiculous.
Okay, so initially I was pretty tough on the pick, and I'll justify why. I am a strong believer that if you're picking in the top 10, it's because your team was bad. It's because your team was not good. if you're picking in the top 10, I think you should draft a guy that will play 100% of the snaps. If not 100, you could maybe talk me into 80. Okay, you could maybe talk me into 80. When we drafted Josh Allen, I didn't really think about the potential of him playing the base 4-3 outside linebacker as an option.
Did you hear his take on that?
I mean, I'm sure he's going to want to do it.
I mean, he says he can do it.
Of course he says that. What's he going to say?
mean, he said
I'm not able to. I'm with you. I mean, I'm glad to hear that he thinks he can do it. Don't get me wrong, but that's an option. And here's what I'll say. He not only was he the SEC Defensive Player of the Year, he won the Nagurski Award, which means he was the best defensive player award in the country. Like it was beyond SEC. 17 sacks, 5 forced fumbles, 21.5 tackles for loss. Here's the thing, though. Admittedly, I didn't watch a lot of film on Josh Allen because I didn't think he would fall to us.
Exactly.
Right.
I mean, who would have?
But I watched a lot of film on him, and he is a speed guy, a speed rusher. He'll beat you to the edge. He'll beat you around the corner. He's so fast. He'll beat the tackle to behind the quarterback, change direction, and then get to him. He's that fast. But he didn't show on film a move where he could come back inside. He didn't show on film where he could bull rush somebody. And he only had a couple plays where he was impactful in zone coverage. Does that mean he can't do it? No. But he hasn't shown it. And he got a lot of sacks because he beat a lot of slow tackles to the edge. And I think I'm choosing to be optimistic. I think he could be really good in our defense. And if he can flourish as an outside linebacker, that's great because we had talked about how linebacker was a huge need going into this draft.
Dude, if you were happy with Taven Bryan as a pick, I mean, I know it's different positions. You got to be happy with taking him because the knock on Taven Bryan was, hey, tons of upside potential, wasn't coached right, project. Okay, the knock on this guy is what you just said. Is like,
but Taven Bryan
wasn't
was
coached
taken
well.
at 29, and Josh Allen was taken at 7.
Yeah, but this guy did put up the numbers in college in the same
Yes.
division. And his knock is like, hey, you did not have great coaching. And when
But
they even asked
he-
him about it, like he
But he
wouldn't
also
even say that.
he put up those huge numbers in college playing the exact same position as Yannick Ngakoue. So
And
you
Ngakoue
run
didn't have a fantastic year
he
last
didn't,
year.
but most fans would agree that he's the future at D end.
Well, we'll see,
I
right?
hope, and we all hope. Fowler's gone, so he better be. But we're looking at probably Avery Jones and Taven Bryan playing every snap that Josh Allen doesn't. Am I wrong? Right? That's probably correct, right? You move Campbell inside on 3rd and
I
long.
would think Brian.
Right. So
It's got to be Bryan. I would hope so, right?
I mean,
Yeah,
those
it's not,
two
there's a
guys,
problem.
Better be.
well, those two guys will probably hold down it, and then on passing downs, nickel formations, you put Allen on the edge, the 7 technique, the 9 technique, and then you move Campbell into the 5 technique or the 3 technique. But I still think if Allen doesn't play outside linebacker, he plays less than 50% of snaps.
Well, he's supposed to be Fowler's replacement.
Right. Which
And
Fowler
Fowler
played
60?
no,
Something for
Fowler
60?
only played 44.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
So
he played more.
in the year he went off 2 years ago, he played less than 40. So
But again, you think about a guy like this that's coming in with fresh legs, and that was the year that we had all the turnovers. That was the year we had all the pressures. That year we went deep into the playoffs. I mean, we replaced Flower with a guy who is a good locker room dude and is probably as capable.
and Fowler,
Maybe not as like aggressive and nasty, but faster.
and
So-
Allen has shown he can force fumbles the way Ngakoue does.
Yeah.
And that's nice to have on your team.
And that's what we missed last year, man. I mean, again, with the offense that we have, with what they've decided to like piece together for it, we're gonna have that.
We said, a big knock on the defense last year, and really, besides the offense's lack of ability to score points, the defense's problem was they could not rush the quarterback. They couldn't pressure the quarterback like they did 2 years ago. I mean, if you look at the numbers from 2017 to 2018, there was major drop-offs there. There was significantly. So I think this brings them back to looking more like 2017 Jags defense. And I'm all for that. That was super fun to watch. And I just think, I understand, Jason, what you're saying, that you want a guy, if you're drafting that high, that's going to play 100%. But I think also you have a rare opportunity when you draft that high to get an elite talent. And I think when you have that opportunity, you have to take them rather than bypass that for someone who's a lesser talent that's going to play more. And I think that's the route they went. They went with getting the best guy that was on the board for them. No one thought in a million years it would be Allen. Thank you, Giants and Bucks and Raiders. Especially Raiders. Took a guy at the same position. So yeah, I mean, I think it was very reminiscent of Ramsey falling to the Jags at 5. It had the same feel to it. You're just watching this name that's still on the board and going, no, it can't happen. And then lo and behold, it does. So
does it bother you? Because Ramsey plays corner, and I love Ramsey.
Nothing about Ramsey bothers me.
I agree, but we would all agree that GMs put a higher priority on defensive ends than corners. Does it bother you that 6 teams passed on him?
No, it doesn't, because really,
only really 3 teams did.
yeah, only 3 teams.
Yeah, look at the teams what they picked.
Well, I wouldn't consider Arizona passing on him. I wouldn't consider even the next 2 teams that took Bosa and Quinn Williams passing on him, because they took guys that are on the same level. Yeah. I would put them all 3 in the same category. The Raiders. I mean, is that passing or is that just being stupid?
No,
it's not Al Davis though. It's Gruden
still a
and
typical
Mayock,
Raiders pick,
but it's
man.
Gruden and Mayock though.
Everybody's staring at each other, going like, "This guy's
people.
not even in my top 50 players. Like, who is this guy?"
No, I mean, people knew who they took. They were expecting him in the 20s, not 4 overall.
Yeah, I mean, I saw him in the teens, but it's splitting hairs.
Yeah.
And then the Giants. I mean, come on. Literally, they took that
That's
guy.
the Giants.
That guy's
a
a quarterback, and then their running back goes out and gets shot the night of the draft.
Oh, that's too soon.
It's not too soon. It happened.
I like Daniel Jones. I
know you always have.
I always have like Daniel Jones.
You could have got him at second round.
People say that, but if you really like him, you can't.
I mean, if they like him, get him.
Exactly.
And that's fine.
I'm
glad they did, because it worked out for the Jags.
Yeah. Go Giants.
Yeah. So I wouldn't say 6 teams passed someone. I would say the Raiders. I mean, and the Bucks did, and that's it.
I mean, the Bucks took a linebacker over him.
Right.
And I know he's not a linebacker, and it's tricky. We get into formations, we get into schemes, but Devin White's more of an interior linebacker. But I mean, they took him over him. I mean, the Bucks valued Devin White over Josh Allen. The Raiders valued Clelin Ferrell over Josh Allen. I love Josh Allen, but it's just like it just kind of bothers me a little bit.
You're looking at 2 horrible franchises, though.
In
the past 10 years. Well, I agree. But with that being said, it's not like the Patriots passed on him.
Well, and what good move has Gruden made since he's been there?
No, I mean,
has he made a solid move besides
clearing
cap space?
He's like tanking for Vegas.
Honestly.
He's clearing cap space right now, though.
Yeah, he's getting slot machine money.
I mean, okay, so here's my biggest, and this will sum up my Josh Allen feelings, and I do apologize for being a little pessimistic, because I was, and I'm scarred, I'm burnt from the Jags.
I hear you.
I am, but here's my only issue is, too many times for the last 2 years, I've sat in the stands and said audibly to everyone around me, if the defense doesn't score, we will not win this game. For the last 2 years, I'm so tired of saying that. I hate that feeling. I love having a good defense. I love it more than anybody. I'm a defensive guy through and through. But I hate saying if the defense doesn't score, no, we're not going to score.
Let me ask you this, because I totally get what you're saying. I've been in the stands, and not only that, but it's kind of boring at times when you know your offense isn't going to do anything, especially watching it live. Who are they going to get that was going to make that happen this year?
I think Hawkinson could have given the Jags offense a huge boost.
Okay, let me ask you this then. Is he, we'll say, roughly 64 picks better than the tight end that they got in the 3rd round?
I think
is he that much better?
And I could,
that much of a talent
I could
gap?
be wrong, and no one knows now.
Sure.
But I think that he is, because he is a good run blocker and a really good ride. He was probably the best run blocking tight end and the best receiving tight end in the draft. And he went 1 pick after the Jags. He definitely went to the next team that was picking.
He definitely was.
That same team drafted a tight end
they
in the
took
top
Ebron.
10.
I know. But that's also a different front office, and it's just, I don't know, man. Like, Hawkinson would have given this offense such a boost, and like we're still going into the season with just Do you feel good about the receiving options Foles has?
Okay, well, here I want to jump in here.
You're not
because
allowed. I'm just
I was
kidding.
on the Hawkinson
We were
train.
having a great conversation going on. Good back and forth.
I forgot
happening.
you were here,
Yeah.
Jody.
I was on the Hawkinson train from day one, and I was super not happy about the fact that not only did we not take him, but he went the pick after us. But after looking back on it, thinking about things, when we made our run, we had short field positions. We had players that put us in those positions. We had guys healthy that are going to be back healthy this year. And we had a quarterback that couldn't quite do it all the time. So if Allen and Taylor help us be that exact same team, but with Nick Foles, then it really doesn't matter who he's thrown to because Bortles did it with the same crew. So if that happens, then they made the right call. And I think that's what they're basing it off on. Still would have liked Hawkinson, but, I mean, if we had gotten him, nothing else would have transpired after that. Who knows what the draft would have been like. So I'm being optimistic? Is that how it goes? Pessimistic?
No, that's
I don't know.
Cautiously optimistic.
Cautiously optimistic?
yeah.
I don't know. I think that could work because it did 2 years ago, and we've got better players.
I still like it. I thought they were going to go defense. I didn't think it would be Allen, but I thought they were going to get the best available player, and to me that was a defensive player just because that's how the draft was this year. It was heavy on defense, especially on the line. So I like it. I like the idea of getting a tight end in the third round a whole heck of a lot better than I like getting him 7th overall. And I just don't see a disparity in talent between those two players that would justify getting Hawkinson at 7 instead of a third round. That's just me. And again, like Jason said, we won't know the answer to that question for really a few years. But to me, the only way that the Lions made the right pick at getting Hawkinson at 8 is if he is Rob Gronkowski. Anything less of that, and I think it was too soon. I mean, maybe Kelsey. Yeah, but I mean, Kelsey's not really known for his run blocking
If he's
as
in
much,
Ertz
right?
too, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's so. I think we do have to remember going into this year that we have Nick Foles as a quarterback, and I don't think that can be overstated enough right now. I just don't see in the first round, especially in the top with the 7th pick, a guy that was going to just transform the offense. There was with every single wide receiver that was drafted. I mean, I didn't watch every round, but the first 3 rounds, every time a wide receiver's name was called, I was just like, I mean, I'm not bummed that we don't have this guy. You know what I mean? It didn't seem like that. Maybe N'Keal Harry was the only one that would have been cool if he had dropped, but I don't think we would have taken him. I think we would have gotten Taylor still. So there just didn't seem like there was any of those players this year that would have come in and just boosted our offense to a whole nother level. So I'm glad they went with who they got.
The only guy I would have liked to see us take is instead of Quincy Williams from Murray State, they could have drafted Riley Ridley from Georgia, who's Calvin Ridley's brother, and is a really good receiver in my opinion. I feel like if they would have brought him into this receiving core, I mean, you're looking at your 5 being, your 5th guy being Keelan Cole at that point, which is where we should be, honestly. But now we don't have a 5th receiver. Our 4th receiver is Keelan Cole. Our 3rd is Chris Conley, who nobody wanted. Our 2nd is coming off of an ACL, and our 1st has never been a 1 or 2 in his life. So I just feel like we're running into some issues here at wide receiver, and to Nick Foles, who's been a guy surrounded by talent his entire career. Who knows how he's going to be now? I know he's a good quarterback, but he's never been in such a talent-deprived team since he's been in the league. Even when he was with Chip Kelly, he had way more talent and speed around him than he does now. So, I don't know. But do you guys know? Do you guys know anything about Josh Oliver, the tight end they took? I did a little research about him today. He's got a pretty interesting story.
Why don't you tell us?
Okay, he was actually.
I mean, I know what it is, but for our listeners,
yeah.
That.
So, just before we go any further, Josh Allen, 6'5", 260. Jawan Taylor, 6'5", 310. Josh Oliver, 6'5", 250.
Some big boys.
250.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Some big boys.
Didn't you say that Taylor like took weight off when he
Oh
got to
yeah,
Florida. So
he was like 380 when he
okay,
went
so
to Florida.
he can put some more
Yeah.
weight on if he
Oh,
wanted to.
that was great. All the rumors about his injuries and weight fluctuations in college.
Yeah.
His weight fluctuations was he came in fat and lost weight. That was his weight fluctuation.
And his knee injury was his sophomore year.
So he worked out and he ate right?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I know it was.
And his knee injury he completely recovered from and played a whole year with no issues. So I mean,
But it was quote weight fluctuations when it came. But anyways, so Josh Oliver he went into San Jose State as a D end, and then as a freshman, he played a little wide receiver in high school.
So you're saying Josh Allen could be a tight end?
I like where you're going here.
Yeah.
We're picking up what you're putting down.
But I like it. So freshman year, all the tight ends get hurt. He comes in, has like 7 catches his freshman year. Actually, it was the sophomore year, because he was redshirt his freshman year. So then he stayed at tight end, and the next year he had 35 catches. So he went from 7 to 35, and then his next year, which is senior,
5 times as many, Joey.
he had 56
I was thinking
catches.
4, but thanks.
Led the team in 4 touchdowns, and he was a really good receiver. And so every year he's like exponentially added receptions to his career total. So he's only been a tight end for 3 years, is what I'm telling you.
Doesn't San Jose State play both ways though, because they can't roster enough players?
That may be true, but yeah, he was the what I don't even know what conference they're in.
Exactly.
The whatever they're in, whatever conference they're in, he was the tight end. He was the first team all tight end. So, and he wasn't a tight end though, is what I'm saying. So if the pattern continues, he's Rob Gronkowski next year.
I mean, if he's that athletic, I mean, you
I
look
thought you were
at
going to say Matt Jones. That would have been awesome. He's our next
I
Matt
wish.
Jones.
I wish.
hey, Matt Jones without the issues, I'd take it. But
Then he ceases to be Matt Jones.
with that being said, though, I mean, a lot of the great tight ends were basketball players, and then they step in at the last minute and start playing football and tight ends. So I mean, if he's that athletic and can pull that off, I mean, that's very impressive.
This is a quote from a West Coast scout for AFC team. Okay, are you with me? You with me
West
still?
Coast AFC team.
Yeah.
Did that AFC team draft before us?
We don't know who it was.
Okay.
It's, quote, I had him as my sleeper this summer, but he just put too much on tape to stay a sleeper. He can work in the slot, but he needs to get better as a blocker so he can stay on the field every down.
We haven't had a slot tight end in how long?
Ever.
Ever? Like,
Never.
really?
Well, I mean, yeah.
Do you count Ernest Wilford?
Yeah. I mean, he's pretty much a slot
Then
wide
we had
receiver,
him.
tight end. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the only one. So I'm excited about Josh Oliver, but I think you might have been able to get him later than they did.
I'm always I don't know what it is about a draft when your team suddenly has 7 players that have never played a snap in the NFL that makes you so optimistic.
And like 4 of those 7 are going to be starting.
Right. But for some reason, like I look at this lineup, I'm like, man, we're gonna be good. All this, it's like everything's changed. Oh, since last
I
week.
think part of that, though, is that we're getting so many people back healthy next year. We
Yeah.
were
Yeah,
decimated last year by injuries,
in
and
re-
people forget that. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's true. It's huge. But and this is, I think, to Joey's point earlier, is what I love about every single one of the guys that they drafted. These guys are going to be pros. They are not going to be guys that cause headaches. They want to come to Jacksonville. They want to work. They want to win. And it just seems like there is, I don't want to get ahead of myself. And, I'm a fan. Look, I'm going to be optimistic. It's April. Why not? But it just seems like this group is going to be solid in the locker room as well as solid on the field as well as solid in the community. And that excites me, if nothing else.
I mean, that's a great point because they set the tone with Foles, and I think they overpaid him partly because they needed that locker room cohesion, and he's that guy. I mean, that's his MO. Like, he's going to bring that if he brings nothing else. And then their draft picks, Josh Allen is that guy. I mean, it's proven. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. He's no character issues whatsoever. All the way throughout the draft. I mean, you look at the running back. What do we call him? Reichwell? Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Michael Armstead.
I mean,
I'm calling him NyQuil.
Yeah.
Because
So
he knocks people out.
that quote alone, did you hear what he said?
Trademark.
Like he said he's 220 pounds. And he said, I love to be there, and I'm going to come in and run angry. Can you get any
like
better
it.
than that? Come on, dude. Run angry. We like it.
Yeah.
Bring it. I mean, they set the tone with that. They're trying to change the locker room, and I think that's probably part of the problem with Telvin. Like, that's an issue. Like, what's going to happen there?
It's great. Do we have any Twitter questions addressing that by any chance? Before I step on anyone's toes.
I was going to talk about Reichwell Armstead just a second.
Okay, yeah,
go ahead.
Go ahead,
everybody.
Yeah.
Because I did watch some film on Reichwell Armstead, and I wanted to at least prove that I did.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Every big play he had was on the same play outside zone. Okay, so every play he had was out of shotgun, so that's good because we're a shotgun team now. I don't know if y'all knew that or not.
Yep.
But we're a shotgun team now. Every play Temple played was out of shotgun, and every big play Reichwell Armstead had was out of outside zone, which means he basically sweeps in front of the quarterback and then runs off of the outside shoulder of the tackle. So either direction.
Good thing we got a tackle in the second round.
That's
really
what
good.
I'm saying, and not to mention Jawan Taylor is one of the best run blocking tackles.
It's almost like
in
a
the
puzzle.
draft. It's like it's all working together. But
It's like a puzzle.
I'm not sure. But he's a one cut back, so he basically puts his foot in the dirt and gets upfield, kind of like T.J. Yeldon. I know we already have another T.J. Yeldon, and
but he's like T.J. Yeldon without being able to catch the ball in the backfield, though, right? That's
I
kind of the
didn't
knock
see-
on him.
I didn't see any plays with him catching.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what I've heard is that like he literally has never caught a ball in his entire life.
Yeah.
So don't expect that.
No questions about that. So
Okay. Well, that's good intel on Reichwell, Nyquil.
all right. Well,
I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do. I'm okay with the running backs. I think that's check that box.
but
and
from
move on.
Temple though,
I mean, what was it, the 5th round?
yeah.
So I'm okay with that.
Temple's in Indiana, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. I knew that.
Can we talk about our sixth
I knew
round
something.
our 6th round pick and my favorite player in the draft?
Yes, please.
Not just my favorite player the Jaguars drafted.
Yeah, in the draft.
My favorite player in the draft. 6th round pick, number 178 overall, quarterback out of Washington State, Gardner Minshew II.
I like how he called him.
I'm
the
glad you're
second
not our
junior.
GM.
I love this guy. Love this guy. Are you kidding me? 70.7% completion rating in college.
Does he have a quick release?
He has a great release. He threw for 4,700 yards, 38 touchdowns, and 9 interceptions.
That works.
I have to agree with Jason on this one in the regard that he's interesting, like severely so. I mean, I love backstories. The guy went through like 3 different like junior colleges, 2 different like colleges, was about to quit and just become a coach because apparently his football IQ is like off the chart. And I really think he's going to actually end up winning the backup quarterback job.
I hope so.
No, not hope. He's going to.
He's going to. It's a
100%.
lock.
Yeah. Okay, let me just tell you. This guy, sorry I have food in my mouth, but I'm
It's all
so
right.
excited. This guy already has a picture in the Jacksonville Jaguars shirt in jorts. And his quads
Yeah, he's
are
jacked.
so fat that the jorts only go halfway down his leg.
I was like, he looks like a bro from the Ritz, except for the fact that his quads are rippling through his jorts.
Beach
So, yeah.
Bar Bortles is now Beach Bar Minshew. And I guarantee you will see that stash bouncing from bar to bar in the near future.
I think he has the potential to learn behind Foles and do quite well, but his arm strength is questionable.
New alarm.
Yeah.
I just realized with that pick how obsessed Jaguar fans are with having a cool quarterback on the team. Like they could care less if he even had an arm.
We
Just
need
the fact
someone
that he's
to
cool, they're
replace-
like, this guy's awesome.
We
Now
need someone to replace Blake.
Oh, Bortles is yesterday's news. I mean, he's gone. Like people couldn't care any less that he's out of here.
But it's much better that he's our backup
But
than our starter.
I'm just
though.
reading everything like these people love this dude.
They
All
do.
because he's wearing jorts and he's got quads. And he's got a
a
mustache.
mustache.
You know?
Yeah, the mustache. Plus the name,
Yeah.
Gardner Minshew.
It's an listen,
Yeah.
I like the guy too.
Sounds like an author,
I'm loving
not a
myself. I'm
quarterback.
like, man, we love ourselves some cool quarterbacks
Yeah,
here.
we
It's like
do.
we're in high school again.
Yeah. Oh, man.
How
we
much
do.
does he weigh? Because he looks like he weighs about 140 pounds.
How tall is he too?
Let's look at
Let
his,
me look.
Let's
I'll
look
look
at his
it up for y'all.
like his actual tangibles. Let's see that.
Can we just say it right
I
now?
read you his stats.
Can we invite him onto our podcast?
I thought about it. I'm going to.
He would come.
Yeah.
I think he would.
Yeah.
I think he'd be that guy.
I'm
It's
going
like
to.
I went to Ford Jucos.
I'm gonna reach out.
Absolutely,
to him.
I'll do your
I'm
podcast.
gonna reach out to him. So, Jags fans, if you're listening to this, at Gardner Minshew, he's on Twitter, and say, "Get on another Jags pod."
Blow him
We're gonna
up.
blow him up.
Blow him up.
Blow him up. Tell him this is where you want to hear from him, and we'll get him on.
I mean, we've got salsa, chips, and hummus tonight. So I mean, come on, Gardner.
If you've
And a
never
brand
mixed,
new 65-inch television.
if you've never mixed hummus and salsa, and I told Joey this and he still hasn't done it.
I still
so I'm a
haven't because
little
we've
upset.
actually been on the podcast.
But
And I'm gonna be eating.
If you
unlike
haven't
you.
mixed salsa and hummus together, you are missing out on life. Okay,
Yeah, that seems delicious.
he's 6'1", 225.
6'1".
225.
All right.
He's way bigger than he looks.
So he's
Well, I mean, 120. I'd say at least 125 of that is just in his thighs.
Yeah, absolutely.
his quads
And honestly,
are big.
I would cut off every pair of shorts I ever bought if my quads.
I would
were
wear
like that.
jorts all the time.
I
Yeah,
just walk around in my whitey tighties.
why not?
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, not bad.
So, do you think he's a guy if Foles goes down? Which I mean,
Yes.
it happens.
He's gonna.
He can
Kessler
step in
probably
and go
get cut.
50-50 in the games that he has to pick
Yeah.
up.
I mean, it would financially, if nothing else, it makes sense.
And that's
He
all.
is.
That's all we need.
No,
Because Cody Kessler was not going to do that. That was proven.
I mean, to be fair, he didn't. Cody Kessler played with the most injured ragtag scrub team I've ever seen.
And you will back up a quarterback that you like until death's door.
Dude,
won't you?
I'm not gonna look. I put the time in, man. If a guy's bad, I'm gonna call a spade a spade. If a guy's good, I'm gonna defend him. I could be wrong, but I can only tell you what I've seen. And Cody Kessler is a very accurate quarterback, and he might get cut from the Jags, but he'll get on somewhere else.
All right.
Guarantee you that.
Well,
right
I'll throw
now.
this out there, and this is not my take. This is Denny's take from Sports Den. Going to give credit where credit's due. I was a huge Will Grier fan. Was very disappointed we didn't take him in the third round when we could have. His take is that Gardner Minshew is the exact same quarterback as Grier, but smarter.
I don't know about that. What does Denny know
Same
about
arm
quarterbacks?
strength?
Did he know about? Are you kidding me?
I think he is, actually. Kidding.
Look, I just think you like Will Grier because he went to Florida. I don't think you like him because of
No,
what
he
he
was at
actually.
Florida for like 2 games. I mean, he tanked our program for like a year and a half.
2 games. He was there for like 7, and he went like 6-1 in those 7 games.
Regardless,
All the Gator fans love him.
It's not like I'm a West Virginia fan. I just like him, his attitude. I like his intangibles. I like his devotion, his commitment, his studying the game, his character. And, yeah, I think he would be a great backup quarterback. And if this guy's that guy plus a little bit, then great.
Yeah, I agree. I think Gardner Minshew and Will Grier are the same guy. I agree.
Then
We just got one a whole lot cheaper.
Exactly. And we took him
and
2 rounds later.
And I wonder why Joey likes him so much because you could have gotten that guy in the 6th round.
So let me ask you, I mean, what Jason, all right, do you like the Quincy Williams pick?
I didn't until I watched film.
Dude,
and
you've
now
gotta watch that highlight video.
Yeah, that highlight video was kind of nasty. He looks like literally.
like a Terrell Suggs.
I was gonna say like a.
He's not as big.
You know who he reminds me of? I can't remember his first name. His last name's Alford. He plays for the Falcons. He's the dude that hurt Marquise Lee. He goes out there just like missiling people.
You can't
Like,
stand that guy.
I hate that guy.
Yeah.
But when he's on your team, you
But when
love
he's
that
on
guy.
your team,
Yeah.
he's a beast because he like he lays the wood when he's coming down the line of scrimmage, when he's coming downhill.
You know what? We've been talking about this, so I think we should post that on our
We will,
Twitter.
100% we will.
Good. So
All right, we have
can
a YouTube question. This is from Zach Jones,
Ooh.
and he says, "You guys aren't gonna know this." He says, "What do you guys think of the undrafted free agent safety Zed Woods? I think he's got a shot to make the team. Plus, apparently running the fastest 40 at the combine."
Actually, I think I might have a comment on this.
Let's go,
you
Joey.
You
I'm
gotta give me a
so-
second. I gotta look something up real quick.
Oh,
I'll-
you mean like
I'll,
his
I'll,
name?
I'll buy you some time here. I actually looked at all the names of the 21 undrafted free agent signings, and I started to like really look at it. And I said, "Why am I doing this? You know, what are we gonna get? One guy off of this thing? Maybe."
Yeah,
I remember
that.
last year,
Yeah,
the
I
wide
do.
receiver.
Alan Lazard.
Alan Lazard, and it was all the rage. Alan
Yeah.
Lazard, everyone talking. Dude, he did
Yeah.
nothing. He
Yeah.
did, we got a Keelan Cole once. We got Alan Hearns, and everyone thinks that we're gonna find that every year. It's
Yeah.
not gonna happen. Okay, it's not going to happen. So the only reason to pay any attention to perhaps this guy is because of the position he plays, because safety is still a question mark. I was really surprised we only signed one tight end. I thought there would have been maybe more because that, is still a little questionable, I think, and not a lot of – I mean, there was a few wide receivers, but, yeah, I don't know. I started looking and I said, why?
I think you could still see a trade for a tight end because I'm frantically Googling this guy's name, and I can't even find anything about him.
And, really quick, as you mentioned, I have to give you credit big time because about a month ago, we're talking weeks ago, Jason mentioned on this podcast about the possibility And really, the fact that the Jags should pursue a trade for Kyle Rudolph from the Vikings now, lo and behold, you're hearing it all over Jacksonville media from every outlet that's what they're saying they should do.
He's all that's left.
I mean, and I'm serious. The first person to say that, and it was weeks ago.
Yeah,
I agree.
How about literally during the season when I said Kyler Murray should be the first pick, and
I mean, how
everyone was
could
like,
you
he's still
not
going
at
to
this
play
point?
baseball, and I said Kyler Murray should be the first pick, and then what happened?
You're talking about Kyle Rudolph, though, weren't you?
No, I'm saying
Yeah, he's
I'm gloating.
yeah, he's
I'm sorry.
I'm saying why are you surprised?
Oh, so you were soaking that up and adding to it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I get it. My bad.
Yeah.
Actually,
hey, I would do the exact same thing.
Wait, he said Zed Woods. Zed Woods. I was looking up the wrong name.
Okay.
That's why. Okay, sorry. Let me relook
that's
up
why
Zed
Google
Woods.
did not work.
Zed's dead, baby.
Yeah.
Zed's dead.
Actually, that was not the hot take that I had. So you continue, and then I'll throw in there. Since
Zed
it's
Woods
undrafted.
on a Google search brings up Zed Woods, Bengaluru, Karnataka in Japan.
Okay.
In case anybody was wondering. Followed by Zed Woods Luxury Apartments in Bangalore.
I've heard that's the go-to spot there. No deposit.
But
Braves beat your Padres, Joey. Just so that you thought,
Shocker. All right, so since we know nothing about that guy, let me go to another
you talk and I'll look some stuff up. And I'll
undrafted
go
rookie
ahead.
that we did pick up that, from my South Florida source, is saying is going to be somebody who makes a team and pushes Keenan for that last spot as wide receiver. And that would be Tyree Brady from
If I had
Marshall.
$1 for every time you mispronounced Keelan Cole's name, I would be a rich man.
Keenan Cole? Who's that?
Keelan Cole.
That's how much I care about him at this point, because how awful he was last year. He's lucky I'm even talking about him right now. The reason I'm talking about him is because he's going to get replaced by this guy. He's
Say his name
6'3",
again?
211.
Who is it?
Tyree Brady.
Tyree Brady.
He's out of Marshall. Started off at a D1 school, had character issues, not unlike another great wide receiver that we all know. And this guy is from South Florida. He got kicked out of Miami as well. So character issues there a little bit, but he's made his way back, had no issues at Marshall, and this guy's the potential to make the squad and just not be a special teams player. So you heard it here. Tyree Brady.
I'm going to give that take a D+ as far as
And God,
accuracy.
man, 6 months from
So
now,
I'm not afraid to give a letter grade.
6 months from now, this is going to be great.
All right, Zach Jones, I promise you I will do some research on Zed Woods and get back with you next week. I know nothing. I can't even find Google stuff about him. So
I think that just answered the question.
yeah, I mean it's hard to find, but hey, you may know the guy, you may be him, and if you are, I promise to do some research and I will get back with you fully informed because I do my research. Not always in enough time for the podcast, but I promise I will do
You
it.
really think he's listening right now?
Well, he did on YouTube Live, so
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
This is off topic. I know Jason lives on Twitter. Are you on? You're not on Twitter, are you?
Joey's
No,
not on Twitter
I
at
don't-
all.
I don't
dude.
like-
He's
I don't
no-
like
For
the
everyone out
Twitter.
there, you need to follow, and if you don't, you really need to follow. Nature is scary. It is one of the
That sounds
best.
fantastic.
Follow. I'm watching a dude right now cut a whole beehive out of his ceiling in his living room. And
Our
they're
own
they're
pod-
just swarming him.
Our own podcast might not get me on there, but that could.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's sweet. There was a gazelle getting trying to hide behind like an SUV, and this cheetah came up and just owned him.
Did we pick them up as a sponsor and I didn't realize it? Or
No, that was for free tonight.
That was a heck of a
that,
play.
that was for free.
Those tweets actually now that you've mentioned that and you talk about what it is, I've seen that. They actually take all of their content from a subreddit called Nature is Effing Lit.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
I'm going with the G-rated version.
yeah,
of
let's
Nature is
go with the
Scary.
clean version of that.
Yeah,
I'm just telling you.
yeah.
Good backstory.
It's good though.
No.
You need to follow it, especially. I mean, because you always watch the stuff on like nature channels, and they show right up to the kill, and then they pan over to the bushes.
Have you
know,
seen Our
me nuts.
Planet on
yeah, I have.
That's
2
good.
episodes.
Do you watch it in 4K?
I don't have.
I
4K.
can now.
It's 1080p.
That change nope.
I've
Nope.
almost
That
watched it
4K
twice.
changes it
Do I
now.
have 4K? No, I don't.
4K changes
There's
it.
only like 6 things you can watch in 4K. But
I've had 4K
yeah.
for about a week, and as an experienced 4K player now, I gotta tell you, it changes.
I
the game.
can't imagine because even on 1080p, it doesn't look real. I mean,
No,
like,
it's
there's,
insane.
Like, there's no way that water is that blue.
No, it's insane. It's insane.
Yeah, it's a cool show. But even on there, they'll show a chase and then the wolf made a wrong turn. I can't do the guy's voice. I'm not going to, but he's way cooler sounding
Yeah.
than me. Anyway, I was just watching these bees, and this guy's ceiling is crazy.
Oh, I'm sorry, I fell asleep. What was that?
Listen, you would like it, Joey. I'm telling you.
I would love it.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's way too much.
Any thoughts on 7th round pick, number 235 overall, Dontavius Russell, D tackle out of Auburn?
No, I don't think he makes the team.
I mean, Auburn had a good defense, but I've never heard of them.
If I'm still on the board, available in the 7th round, I'm crossing my fingers that I don't get drafted. Let me
pick my team.
where I want to go.
Yeah, I can see that.
Is that worth $400,000 to you?
You're guaranteed that regardless if you make
That's
the team or not?
about the difference.
Regardless if you make the team.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, that's a good question.
Then
Maybe
no,
not.
absolutely not.
Yeah.
Because some of those guys will never get picked up or be
Yeah.
practice squad players. So
Because you could get cut if you get drafted and still make another team, I guess, But I just don't see where the spot for that pick. I was kind of like,
what
what?
you're saying is he doesn't want to be a Jaguar, so he doesn't fit.
No, so he
There's nowhere for him to fit.
He basically plays Darius's position. So he's basically Marcel Darius, but a 7th round pick version of him.
He's going to be gone next year, so
I agree with
All
you,
you gotta do
but
is
just to give
progress.
people an idea, that's what he is. He's called a 2-gap player, and what that means is that he lines up in the one technique or the shade, which is right on top of the center, and he punches the center with both hands, and his goal is it's called reading the running back. If the running back comes through the A gap on either side of the center, he has to tackle the running back. So his goal isn't to knife or get to the quarterback. His goal is to hold the gap, the A gaps, and not let the running back get through him. And the linebackers are going to fill everywhere else. And so
Is Avery Jones Darius's backup as of right now? No.
Avery Jones is actually a fringe starter with Taven Bryan, because right now you're looking at
So who's behind Darius?
Darius is nobody.
Nobody.
Yeah. Darius is
Just so he comes
he's a
off the field,
He's a $22 million starter. He's not coming off the
Dontavius Russell is
Yeah,
behind.
he's only coming off the field is on passing downs. Darius is in non-passing down or on any down besides an obvious passing down. But he
So just pray he doesn't get injured.
yeah, I mean you're looking at your starters right now being Campbell.
Thomas Joey.
You didn't mix it after all that we went through.
Not yet, man. That's,
Oh,
I'm
okay.
doing like a quick
All right.
move.
It's going to change your life. It really is. But you have Ngakoue, you have Campbell on the edges. You have Darius on the interior, which we the one or the shade. And then the 3 technique, which is like basically over the guard on the strong side, is either going to be Taven Bryan or Avery Jones. And then Josh Allen fits in there somewhere, either outside linebacker, passing down edge rusher. But that's what you're looking at right now.
Didn't they resign
like it.
Shatley?
Yes.
So where does he fit?
He is an
Shatley?
offensive
He's
lineman.
offensive line.
Oh, crap. I thought he was on defense.
He's
Sorry.
a tackle, but he also plays center and guard. He's a very versatile player. I like Tyler Shatley. T-Shat, what we call him.
Yeah. You and Gardner.
Me and Gardner. me and G-Men.
Do you have any more
Mention-
questions? Because I have a question if we don't have any more.
You go and ask yours. I'll find mine.
I'm just straight up like, what do you guys think is going on with Telvin?
Everything that I've seen, I mean, is that he's the head case that he was last year. I mean, apparently, not just on the field, because obviously dude, he was lost, overran coverages, was a locker room cancer. Even more so is coming out now about that. I think he's that guy. Unlike like Ramsey, anybody else, for the most part. Bortles, prime example. Don't pay attention to Twitter. Don't pay attention to the news. Don't pay attention to that stuff. I think Telvin is that guy who does pay attention to that, and he's a little bit butthurt. And I think the longer he holds out and doesn't show up, he's not really holding out, but doesn't show up, the more negativity he hears and the less he wants to do it. He's not answering his boss. It doesn't matter if through the players' agreement you have to or not. If your boss calls you, you answer it, especially if you're making that kind of money. But he's going to be on the team because nobody's going to take him. He had a horrible year last year, and his contract's ridiculous. So he's going to be there, so we got to figure something out.
Yeah. That actually was well said, Joey.
Hey, I hit one every once
As
in a while,
much as
right?
it pains me to say, as it pains me to say, as well said.
You said you thought Shatley played defense, but then you redeemed yourself with that.
I remember somebody like crushing the quarterback in like the preseason and thinking that guy was going to be awesome. And thought it was Shelley, but I guess not.
We gotta give some credit to Pete, and he's at Coach L Tweets, and he says he loves the first 2 picks, but he's concerned about the free safety position. He says putting a lot of confidence in Gerard Wilson with no backup plan. He does mention Trey Boston is still out there in free agency, which would really solidify the position. And Trey Boston, if you don't know, was a safety from Alabama. I think he had 3 interceptions last year, but wasn't a big tackle. I mean, I don't think he had a bunch of tackles. Just kind of that like kind of guy that just like kind of Tayshaun Gibson kind of guy.
Well, that's perfect because we don't ever get beat over the middle.
Well,
You got to get that.
Ooh, wow.
I don't really like that, to be honest with you. That hat. No, I'm more of a traditional.
Think about summertime on the beach.
For the people not watching the TV, we are a Tampa Bay hat just came up that was.
It looks
I
like
liked it.
It looks like it looks. And
It looks
honestly,
like graffiti splatter.
if you would have shown the hat to me and you've been like, "Does James like this hat?" I would have said hard no.
Never.
Really?
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah.
That's like those jerseys
I'm
everybody hates
changing.
that come
I'm
out.
evolving.
Because that was the most like graffiti.
Yeah.
Now I will say
TV
this: if
with
it was a Braves hat, I probably would not have liked it. But because the Rays are kind of like
a newer team.
Well, it's like they're my favorite American league.
You trying to
team,
say they're
which
not
is-
classy?
No, it's just not my.
They're not like
my
right.
my-
I get you. I get
yeah.
what you're saying, but
That thing was ugly as sin.
no, I like the traditional Tampa Bay Rays. Honestly, the Devil Ray, the
Yeah,
old Devil
that
Rays
was
hat,
nice.
I want to get that and snapback. I have a Tampa Bay Rays hat. and,
I'll
like,
say this: that hat was way cooler looking than the Jags draft hat.
oh gosh, that was terrible.
I would buy the Drags hat 10 times out of 10 for that one.
What? Did you just say? Was
10
that a
times out of 10.
sentence?
It was.
Hi-shi-ba-shi-hi-shi.
Would much rather have that hat.
All right, this question.
Still
Sorry,
got salsa and chips stuck to my tongue.
sorry, Twitter.
Yeah.
This one's from King, and he's at the Noah Bennett.
Okay, nice.
And he says, "What are everyone's predictions for defensive rotations this year?" Ooh.
I have none.
So we talked about
We
Taven.
already said the defensive line.
We talked about Taven and Avery playing the same position. We talked about Josh Allen coming in on passing downs. Okay, just for context, Fowler played 44% of the snaps last year. Taven Bryan played about 20, and he played a lot at the end of the year when the team was bad. So, given that, what do you think happens?
I think Taven's going to start. I think he's going to take Malik's place. He's his second year. He did well in that position. When they tried to play him outside, that's when he struggled. But I think he's going to step up. I'm not saying he's going to be Malik, but I think he's going to play a lot better than he did last year.
I mean, he has to.
Listen, tonight is optimistic, James. All right, I'm thinking everyone's.
Look at that hat you just liked. You have to be optimistic.
As much as you're surprised that I did like it, I'm surprised you didn't like it. I thought.
I mean, not only did he like it, but he literally stopped the podcast to comment on
No,
like a
Well,
pop-up.
Jason wasn't. I was trying to do it incognito, but he
No.
wasn't watching the TV.
I
He was
get it.
He was
I'm a
actually
fla-
focused on the podcast.
I'm a flashy guy, but that hat was ugly.
No, you can look at it again.
Okay,
you
maybe.
didn't have time to really digest it.
It'll go with your grill.
Plus, I think it was free if you.
It's free if you're the first
Yeah, if you go to the park.
10,000 to show up at Tropicana.
You're not old enough yet to wear any free hat. You'll get there. There's no such thing as an ugly free hat. I'll wear that.
I mean, I think with the rotations, is there any chance that Miles Jack gets pushed outside?
No.
Well, the question would be who plays in the middle then.
I know.
Jake
but I mean,
Ryan. Is that his name?
Yeah, that's his name.
Yeah, Jake Ryan.
16 candles.
So I don't think so. I think,
So if Telvin is stuck on the team,
that's
I
the
guess-
wild card.
I mean, man.
Man, we're in such a weird spot, dude. We got DN playing linebacker. We got linebackers rushing the passer. I don't know. How do we answer this
You have
question?
to say this: there's a lot of speed. There's a lot of speed.
We got a lot of fast guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, this question's from Treeb Talks. We like Treeb.
Yeah.
Treeb's a consistent YouTuber, and he's at Treeb Talks. And he says, "What do you like/dislike about Gardner, and will his mustache take over Shad's as the fan favorite?"
I think it already has.
I think it has as well.
I agree.
Yeah,
It's taken like 3 days.
He's my favorite Jaguar already.
And he's owning it.
Yeah.
You can tell.
Here's
Dude
follow-up
owns it.
question: when are you going to buy his jersey?
Never.
If he makes the team this year, I'll buy his
What do you
jersey.
mean if? You already said he's backup quarterback. Come on. If you guys are going to be best friends, you got to have more confidence in him than that.
You're right.
Here's what I propose. Okay, I'm dead serious about this.
Oh, this is going to be good.
The home opener, September whatever it is, against the Chiefs, you're going to go and you're going to wear your Gardner Minshew jersey. You're gonna shave because you got a nice little mustache going.
Yeah.
You're gonna
Oh, yeah.
clean shave the rest of your face.
Yeah.
And you wear jorts to that game.
I think it's definitely doable.
All right.
Yeah, for sure.
That's what I like to see.
Yeah, I mean,
Hey, you guys start working on your quads right now.
and if I could grow a couple inches, I could get as. I need 1 inch.
What are you talking about? You're 6'1". You're like taller
Hey,
than 6'1".
No,
From a distance,
no.
you're 6'1".
I need to grow an inch. I need to gain 35. All right. This next question is from Joe Vandal, and he's at Brady Bauer too. And I honestly don't know what he's talking
Are we
about.
answering these questions, by the way?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know.
Let's
As
check.
good as I ever do.
I honestly,
Tyler Shatley.
I don't know the answer to this question. I don't know what he's talking about. Y'all may. Can we talk about how glorious the Eagles punking the Texans in the first round was? Glorious.
Was there a trade involving the two teams? The Eagles punked the Texans?
Joe, if you'll send us a follow-up question, we will answer it on the next one, but I don't think we have any idea
Yeah.
what you're talking about.
I heard nothing about that.
The Texans drafted a tackle that was terrible, like a D2 tackle. Did the Eagles draft one right in front of them, or?
I didn't really follow either one of their picks in the first round, especially.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Sorry, Joe. This one's on us.
I don't know.
But we're another Jags podcast,
Yeah,
not
that's right.
another Texans/Eagles podcast.
That's right.
Very true. I will throw this out there. Do we need to make sure Patrick Jackson's okay?
He's fine. He's a survivor.
I mean, we heard from
He
him
said
in a
he
while,
watched our live video last week, but
which was like really late for him, right, or early.
He said it was like 2 a.m. or something like that.
But no comments, no questions, no nothing.
He might be dead.
I'm kind of concerned.
Yeah.
I read something about him driving by something and seeing a bunch of caterpillars or something.
Yes, you did.
I did. I don't know.
Caterpillars are dangerous. Some of those sting. Maybe you got too close to the caterpillars.
He's a bit of a Renaissance man.
He is. He's all over the
He's doing
place.
a lot of different things.
Patrick, if you're dead, can we give a eulogy at your funeral? We'll all three do it together.
Just let us know
I was
either way.
really counting on him holding another Jaguars sign at the game in London.
Just let us know either way.
That'd be a major downer.
Wow. Well, P. Jack, we need to hear from you.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line.
Let us make sure you're okay.
Yeah. Well, the computer's far today, but I can imagine that's probably around an hour.
I think it is.
Yeah.
It's got to be.
Yeah. So thanks for listening. Obviously, a lot of questions to be answered with these players. I think optimism reigns right now. Jason's being a little more, I won't even say pessimistic. I say a little realist.
Honestly, I'm doing good today.
Yeah.
Compared to Thursday, I'm doing good compared to Thursday.
Very good.
Yeah.
So, we still, it almost seems like now the offseason has really started. You know, have rookie mini camps come in and then all that stuff. But really, the excitement is over. Now the waiting really does begin. But it'll be here before you know it. We're going to have all summer to talk about all these guys, all the positions, what we expect, what we don't expect. So it's going to be a fun offseason. Keep listening to us. Keep watching us on YouTube. We appreciate the questions. We appreciate the comments. Keep them coming. Listen, you don't have to wait until the day of when we tweet asking for your question. If you have a question during the week, go ahead and post it, and we'll include it on our show. We appreciate all the feedback. Again, you can follow us on Twitter at Another Jags Pod, Facebook, Instagram, Another Jags Podcast, and on YouTube. Just search Another Jags Podcast. We appreciate everyone, and as always, go Jags.
How are you streaming this to the record? Do you have the MLB package?
Oh, I actually have Fox Sports, Florida. Fox Sports.
How do you pay for that, like individually?